Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick Bencino with the Trading Battle. This is TTB number 77. We're at the 77th battle, and this one is a crypto battle. So we've got two awesome crypto traders here today. We've got Peter Anthony. Say hello, Peter.
Hi guys, how you doing?
And we got Moonin Papa. I've met Peter before, but I haven't met you, Moonin Papa. Hello.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So yeah, let's get started with the challenge, guys. We've got a lot of stuff today, but I also want to talk some crypto with you guys. Find out what you guys are trading right now, what you're thinking about the crypto market. So before we get into any challenges, let's talk about crypto right now. What do you think? Where's it going? Bitcoin's at 24K. It's been stuck there for like what, 3 days now? Not moving up, not moving down, well, barely moving up or down. What are you thinking Bitcoin's going to do over the next few weeks?
It's been more and more obvious to me that Bitcoin and the crypto market in general has been led by the S&P and the Dow Jones. So looking at the charts for the Dow, surprisingly so, the Dow actually broke above this major resistance line. Now it closed above, but it's not confirmed. And the S&P is literally doing the same thing today, this week. So it's an interesting time to have this battle because there's a lot of uneasiness to me in the markets where things could drop significantly for BTC and Ethereum, especially Ethereum since it's raged. But crypto is also super resilient and dump 12% one day, pump 30% the next. That's pretty much par for the course anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, SPX, like you said, it broke through resistance, and now it's facing the 4,300 resistance.
Yes.
So, are
Yeah.
you saying if it dips from there, it's going to take Bitcoin with it? Because Bitcoin didn't rise with it, but you're thinking it's going to fall with it?
I think they've been pretty correlated. It's a little bit shocking. I miss the good old days, like even before I got into crypto, but like in 2017 when the CME really opened up for Bitcoin to go, people to much bigger players to short the market. I mean, things were way better, more in favor for just normal retail traders or investors. But after that, Bitcoin has become more and more in the spotlight. Therefore, more big players are investing, more prop firms, more companies are putting BTC on their company portfolio. So it makes sense that if the market's going south, then a lot of those big holders are going to sell. And if the market's rising, then a lot of those companies are going to buy more. So it's, unfortunately, I feel like it is being led. So that's why I'm kind of at a crossroads right now.
Yeah, same here. No, I completely agree with you. It is being led by the equities, and I do personally think that if the SPX and everything turns around from here, that Bitcoin's probably going to dump pretty hard. But that's fine by me. So how about you? What do you think of?
So yeah, I've been looking into the DXY, the dollar index, and the dollar is basically pretty much at a high that it hasn't seen since 2002, and it's pretty much inversely correlated with crypto. So we're seeing for the last sort of month or so, we've seen a little bit of a push in crypto because the dollar kind of topped out and came back down, but is now kind of finding support again, breaking back towards the upside. And I think if it continues to kind of push towards the upside, which I don't think there's any sign of it sort of slowing down right now, that crypto is well and truly likely to take a dip back down to, I think, Bitcoin down to the levels that it saw about a month ago. Ethereum probably pushing down to sort of $1,200, maybe $1,000 even. So I think this is a bit of a nasty trap that people are going to get caught in right now.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But it's going to present us with some great buying opportunities. What cryptos are you thinking of buying down there once Bitcoin gets back to the 18K, 19K area?
I mean, it's I hate to say it, but with crypto, like anything kind of that's already fairly well established, that has a pretty solid kind of backing. Because I was talking about with MP earlier that the lack of kind of understanding with crypto, most people tend to just jump into whatever their mates are buying and whatever. So when the market starts to move, most of those cryptocurrencies will move pretty aggressively, and then the smaller market cap coins will move obviously more aggressively, biggest market cap coins. So these kind of like, like we're going to talk about later, Doge coins, etc. These coins have the potential to absolutely boom, in my opinion, because they have smaller market caps. They're already well established, and they have sort of pretty solid backing from a fairly passionate community. So I think taking away kind of all the technicalities of the advantages that crypto brings us, actually, there's a lot of, as meme coins have proven, that there will be big surges coming up. So I think things like Dogecoin, from the kind of meme coin point of view, I've also been looking into things like Hex and also GameFi coins. I think GameFi is probably going to be huge. Obviously, had a very successful end of year last year. I think GameFi is going to be very exciting. So I think into things like Gala Gaming. But in terms of meme coins, I would say that Dogecoin, due to its popularity, which obviously got made by Elon Musk last year, whether you like it or not, he's going to continue to make these jokes like he wanted to buy Manchester United or whatever it was yesterday, which obviously drives the market kind of up and down very aggressively, but ultimately it makes things like Dogecoin in the forefront of people's minds, and people who have a little bit of a kind of a risky streak and they want to jump into something that sounds a little funky and interesting, but potential with a lot of potential, things like Dogecoin will offer great returns.
How about you, Moonin Papa? What are you going to be buying?
Well, I know this is going to go against what a lot of people are saying right now, but to me, the bottom was in. I know that there are a lot of people calling for 16K, 13K, even 10K or sub 10K. But I know, but I feel like it makes sense to see Bitcoin fall out of the bear channel that it's in. I feel like if I were a market maker, though, if I was a whale, what would I really want to do? You could dump the market. Yeah, that's true. Or you could scare the market, posit it 20K, have the shorts pile in, and then do a short liquidation to the upside, a liquidation cascade, and throw everybody by surprise, throw everyone off, so that not only does Bitcoin shoot up to 25, but it'll finally hit 28K, because there's that CME gap there too right now that are still open. So I do think that Bitcoin will fall, but I'm not seeing it fall down super duper like sub 17K personally. But I think we're in the, for me, I'm in the mindset right now of it's a buy the dip market. And I think that's part of the benefit of bot trading, which is what I do. All the courses that we teach essentially bot trading, which is essentially using an automated trading platform to dollar cost average your positions in, whether it's going long or going short. So if it goes down, I'm just going to buy a bit more. And that's why I always keep a good percentage of my portfolio free in Bitcoin or stable coins. So that way, when the price of tokens does go down, I'm going to buy some more, because crypto, zooming out, not only is it super forgiving, but it's long-term, at least Bitcoin is long-term bullish in my opinion. So looking to buy Ethereum because the upcoming merge, I think it is. Bitcoin, of course, and Cardano, even though nothing's really happening with it, I just see a lot of rising tension with it. And also, like Peter said, like you can't ignore the meme coins. Like we saw Shiba Inu coin pump over like 60%, something like that. Out of what? Probably like a tweet, probably nothing, to be honest. So seeing a pump like that, though, like Peter said, it's a domino effect. Bitcoin, Ethereum, top 10, top 20, top 100, and then all the other garbage that's down at the bottom will just start to go crazy. So we've seen Bitcoin rise. We've seen Ethereum make a huge move. So seeing Shiba Inu or SHIB move up so much, and Doge is actually up a lot compared to the other tokens right now. Maybe we're seeing that wave, that ripple effect happen already. So yeah.
Cool, yeah. Doge is up, I believe, because Doge Chain just launched, which is I haven't looked into it much, so I could be wrong here. I believe it's the chain for the blockchain for Doge, like a like Ethereum for Doge, but I haven't looked into it, so I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, it's interesting you guys both bring up Doge and meme coins in general because that is our first challenge today. So the challenge today is to trade, and because we all know serious traders love meme coins, and there's a lot of utility to meme coins. So I want you guys to find a trade on a meme coin, and the thing is, you can't pick the same one as your opponent. So you both mentioned Doge. You can't both pick Doge. Whoever picks first gets to go with that one. So find a trade on a meme coin. And I believe ADA is a meme coin. A lot of people would disagree. But if you want to go for ADA, feel free.
Why do you feel like it's a meme coin?
Just I'm not a fan of ADA. I think there's a lot. We got to do the challenge. Don't get me started on all the problems that ADA has.
We'll talk another time. Time.
Well, I'm happy to talk another time about it.
Yeah.
I've had a few rants on trading battles when I've been a contestant about ADA.
Okay.
So yeah, pick a meme coin, guys. Go.
Yeah. I'll go first, mainly because I have an open trade already. And I think one thing that you said about it is that looking at ADA like a meme coin, I think that's smart. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the benefit to us as traders is that we're looking to maybe accumulate some things, but for the most part, we're trying to grow our portfolio and protect it at the same time, right? So in the spirit of that, I actually opened up a position a couple of days ago on SHIB. Now, this is essentially where I entered at about, I don't even know what that number is because this is USD and this is like ridiculously fractions of a penny. But it was a fantastic little trade. And it wasn't that hard to even figure out and to identify. Just doing something real quick and just something really easy to show. I mean, it's literally looking at a resistance and the price keeps tapping, knocking, beating, and then push. And there's also an overhead, long-term overhead resistance that it also broke above too. And this is something that I've been watching for this one. So it's funny because Doge has a similar setup, but Shiba Inu punctured that like it was nothing. So we'll see what happens. I'm still in the green. I'm still in profit. And I mean, I'm not going to discount it. I'm not just going to take profits now because I've taken some on the way up, because we all know that these tokens have a mind of their own. And if they get bullish and really happy, we could see consolidation and then it moves up even more, right? So for me, I'm in the green. I have my stop loss in the green in my profit zone.
When did you take this trade?
I took it, gosh, it must have been, it was after I have a like a private Discord and like a private membership called the Better Traders Club, where I have bi-weekly calls and live streams on Discord, have watch lists. So this is one of the tokens that I let people know a heads up on. So I think it was on the 8th. Yeah. So that means I probably entered here. Looking at the price, I got in on this little dip. Like this is one of those dream trades. So it doesn't happen often. So
this looks like an awesome trade, but this cannot count for the trading battle trade. You can't just like take a trade that you did like 5 days ago and then say, well, this trade that made me a lot of money, I'm going to include this one.
Okay.
I would. Okay. I would. Well, actually, I have won all the trading battles that I've been in, but not to brag. But it'd make it a lot easier to win if you could just like say, that trade I took like 6 months ago, best trade of my life. Use that one.
Yeah.
So well, unfortunately, I force you to take a trade today.
That's fine. I'll take one.
Peter, have you found one?
Yes. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Okay, cool. So this is looking into 4-hour Doge chart. Now, obviously, you mentioned the news that we've seen that's pushed Dogecoin higher, and as you can see, it's aggressively moved up from just a few days ago. It's kind of pushed 25%. However, because obviously, like all cryptocurrencies, when Bitcoin moves one way or another, it tends to drag everything with it. And because Bitcoin, I think, is topping out, and I'm seeing Bitcoin pretty much exhausting while the US dollar pushes hard against it, I have a pretty I'm pretty keen to see a sell on Dogecoin. As you can see, looking at the 4 hour, first of all, we've obviously got pushed towards the upside, and we've seen these big wicks coming in here. So I'm then going to zoom in down to a 15-minute chart to see what I'm sort of looking at. Whoops. Here. And then I've got something I am looking at here. I've got a sort of, not necessarily head and shoulders, but a triple top pattern coming in here with a neckline here. We then come up to retest, and we're coming for a second retest here. If I look at the move out, looking at some moving averages as well on the 15-minute, you can see that it's dropped below the 20 and the 50 here on the 15-minute. It's now challenging to get back above it. Typically, I would wait to see whether we're going to get a rejection, like a confirmation candle. For example, this one here, if I get another confirmation candle like that, I'm going to enter a trade. But because I have to enter a trade on this right now, I'm going to enter a sell position here because I think there's pretty good where I can have, pretty good risk to reward. I'm going to go for a simple 2-to-1 risk to reward here, where I've got my stop loss set here at 0.0909, and then a take profit down here at 0.07015 for a position size. Again, typically I would never risk more than 2% on a trade, but since we are on the trading battle, we're going to go for a little bit bigger in terms of a risk here. So you got 0.084 times. I'm going to do a 100,000 Doge. No, sorry. Yeah. Just do some maths quickly.
Well, while you do the math, and I agree, just up that risk, try to make as much money as you can because it's for charity. And the goal, whenever I come into one of these trading battles as a contestant, I want to make 8cap go broke, giving the money to charity. So just like go in as many lots as you can is my advice. We'll go over to you while Peter does the math, Moonin. So
Sure.
what are you trading?
Okay, well, the next meme coin that I can identify on 8cap would be Shiba. So that's what I'm going to be looking at to enter in a meme coin trade. Now, this one is a little bit crazy, mainly because I work with momentum and I love trend trading. So if I were to identify this chart here on the daily, most people, traditionally speaking, would say, crazy overbought, and this is going to rocket down because it's a no-name meme coin. But for reasons that I laid out previously, I actually think this one could go higher. It is risky buying up here, and I would typically never buy something after it's already shot up like this. If anything, I would want to layer in. So if I were to do this without leverage, I would look to buy in and then just start layering in my position, because with the same ethos that I have around crypto is that it's really forgiving, not with leverage, but with the spot market. So that way, buying more as it falls down, when it recovers, I'll be in the green. It doesn't even have to go up to where I was originally wanting to take profit. So that's what I'm thinking with this one. So it's going to be a little bit risky up here, but again, I think it's one of those momentum moves that Shiba could do. I mean, it does depend a lot on what happens, but to me, it seems like it's something that if it wants to, and even if the whole market dumps, there's always going to be like 5 to 10 coins that are just going to shoot up anyway, because people are moving their money to whatever's up on the exchange. It's ridiculous. So I'm taking that psychological play, if you can believe it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, it sounds good to me. It makes a lot of sense. It seems like meme coins are really moving with the launch of Dogechain. We're getting a lot of movement in the meme market. And while I would normally agree that it's probably going to go down from here, I think this is a bit of a special scenario, and we could see further pumps and meme coins. So yeah, I'm totally on board with it. But I also see Peter's logic for going short. I personally wouldn't take any trade on a meme coin right now because I wouldn't know if it's going up or down. But this is the beauty of the trading battle. You're kind of forced to take a trade. So we're going to see who comes out ahead and whose theory proves right in a few days when these trades wrap up. So, have you taken the trade, Peter?
Yeah, I took a 200,000 Doge sell, which is about $16,500 trade.
And I trust you've also entered your trade, Moonin, and we're good to go on.
Yep.
All right.
Cool. All good.
Nice. So I want to talk a bit about your strategies for trading the markets. Like, what time frames do you guys focus on? Because I know in the trading battle, we often have to switch out time frames to make it so we can find a trade. But a lot of us will trade longer time frames, like the daily, the weekly charts. So what time frames do you guys trade on? We'll start with Peter.
So typically, it depends on what I'm trading. So if I'm trading things like Forex, I'll work on more of like a 5-minute sort of scalping strategy that I use. However, with crypto, I tend to kind of use slightly longer time frames, smaller lot sizes. For some reason, I find crypto way easier to just sort of set it and forget it, which is kind of weird because it's way more volatile than Forex. But
yeah,
it seems to have worked out that way. I don't know whether it's because I've had different experiences using each. But typically, I will do like a 15-minute scalping strategy. So I'll jump across, share my screen, bear with me. So jumping across, have I just shared it or unshared it? Share screen, there we are. Okay, cool. So if we look into Ethereum, this is on a 15-minute chart. So what I've got on here, which is actually a very handy indicator, which I've been using from a YouTube guy called the Moving Average. And I've been trialing out this strategy more recently to sort of see how it all works. Effectively, what it's got 3 moving averages, and it's basically trading via the 3-line strike. Now, I used 3-line strike before, but this is just makes things very clear. For those people who don't know what a 3-line strike is, typically when something is trending, let's say towards the downside, you'll have a bite back in against the market or against the market direction where it will go up 1, 2, 3, and then a big engulfing candle towards the downside, which will indicate that we're going to have a continuation in the trade, and vice versa. If we're going up, you might have a 1, 2, 3 to the downside and then a push up. And these, when used in conjunction with the moving averages, can be really, really handy. So what we can see, I'll show you an example of one on this Ethereum chart, which is actually really clear to see. You can see, obviously, the trend direction is down. So I know that this is going to be looking for sells because we're below the 200 moving average, which is the red line. And then looking for a bite back in towards a moving average that's also going to give me a 3-line strike. So you can see here, we've got a perfect setup where we've got a nice sell. We can take a 1 to 2 risk like this, and then that's basically in and out very easily, setting the market. You can also see another one here, bounce off the moving average. Very straightforward because you can use very tight stop losses. So you never enter the trade before the completion of the 3, in this case, the 3 bearish candles, so which is this orange one here. Never until this has produced the signal, which is the 3, engulfing candle, will I enter a trade. I then enter my stop here. My sell here. And you can see that would be a stop loss just above the wick of that. And if it's more than 10 pips, then I won't take it. 10 pips is Forex talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then always a 2 to 1. However, you can see that some of them are, and it's not 100% strategy, but 2 to 1. I've got one here, another one here. So and then this one probably would have been a losing trade, which obviously I wouldn't have taken. I would have taken because it fulfills the criteria. But people should know that you can lose trades and it be a good trade, and you can win trades and it be a bad trade. So understanding that sticking to your strategy is more important than winning every trade, and winning every trade is a great way, or trying to win every trade is a great way to lose everything.
Yeah, that's 100% true. How about you, Mooning? Do you want to give us some insight into your strategy?
Yeah. It's funny because you bring up that you love moving averages and trend trading. That's literally what I'm all about. You can see the book right behind me. This is a fantastically thick book with lots of interviews by Michael Covell. But we developed this indicator called the TBO, the trending breakout indicator. It was originally first developed by a buddy of mine. Drungle OG is his Discord handle. And then we've taken it on and added a lot to it. So my whole philosophy is to zoom out more. I rarely take active trades, which is what I call it, like placing it on the exchange. Like I would seek it out and really identify it. Most of those I'm going to be placing based off of information on the 4-hour time frame or the daily. So like looking at the chart here for Ethereum, it's really funny because I wanted to show you, Peter, the TBO. Let me see. I'm going to hide this real quick. So it's really similar to your indicator. Again, all indicators are different, but they do similar things, right? So they're all just trying their best to identify the strength of a trend and where the bottom is, when the trend might change. Lots of funny confetti symbols. You get the idea. But the reason why I love this thing is just because it's so simple, because simple is best. I love it. So even just taking out all this other normal TA stuff and just looking at it, I mean, I love knowing that I have like this pink triangle here on the daily telling me this is an open short symbol. So this means that, well, I can see the trend is moving down. Let's go back. And if the trend's already pointing down and I see that open short right there, and it's on the daily time frame, that means a lot to me. And as I play this out and I see those 3 white dots in a row, those are breakdown symbols, meaning that the price should dramatically move down a lot, like an explosive manner. I mean, this plays out perfectly. So I would much rather take these position trades, these swing trades on longer time frames. Now, I do lots of high frequency trading, but that's all done, like I said, with bots. Because when I use DCA bots, I can run them and have them start off of triggers, like on the 5-minute time frame, and I'll use the TBO actually on that as well. And it's fantastic because those bots are amazing. When you would look at a range like this, which is a nightmare for a trader, right? Because you would hate to get stuck in the chop. Bots eat this up because a bot doesn't care. It doesn't get freaked out if it buys up here, because it buys up here and it buys some more here and it buys more here. So that way, when it returns up, then you got profit. Same thing, rinse, repeat, buy more, buy more, buy more. When it comes up, which, like I said, it typically does, then you're in the green. So there are a lot of really nice benefits about having both, where you're able to look for position trades, swing trades, and also have bots running in the background. Like that's my bread and butter. So my preference, as far as charting goes, daily, weekly, 4-hour would be like the fastest time frame that I'm looking at for bigger entries. Yeah.
What bot software do you use for the viewers?
I use 3commas, 3commas.io. I'm one of their ambassadors. If you go to their YouTube channel, you'll see this beautiful face on lots of their videos. But yeah, I also have courses that teach you how to use 3commas bots in really creative and different ways, even with the TBO on thebettertraders.com.
Yeah, I've actually used 3commas myself. It's a great piece of software. I do like it. And Pete, just back to you real quick. You said that you got your indicator from someone on YouTube. Do you just want to share who that is for the viewers?
Yeah, it's called The Moving Average. I'm not associated with him at all, but just great stuff. Typically Forex and things, but a lot of the stuff transfers across to cryptocurrencies. And yeah, it's a great indicator with a, you have to kind of practice using it and follow a few of his videos until you kind of fully grasp it. But I've been using it in conjunction with my other trading, sort of testing it. And jumping back to my screen here, jumping back to my screen, you can see these blue bands. And the reason the blue bands are on here is because I typically trade the London session, although I live in Asia, like it's kind of the afternoon rather than trading at night. these indicate which is the London session. So if I want to go and back test, which if you haven't used TradingView much before, you can click on this replay button, and that'll allow you to go and back test, which means you can go back and test lots of data, but trading specifically within your trading window. So this blue bar through here shows me the time zones that I'm going to be trading in, so that whenever I'm backtesting, I'm only backtesting in the window. Now, I never really when I first got into backtesting, I never really understood the value of why you backtest. And it is to kind of practice using that strategy, but more than anything is to understand that I know now if I take 100 trades that I'll win, for example, 65 out of that 100, I know that if I use this much money, then that's how much money I'll make testing the 100 strategy. That enables me to then stick to keeping my take profits, keeping my rules with my stop losses, which is basically the most important thing. And once I kind of understood this a few years ago, that's when my kind of trading shifted from being crazy and scary and really quite challenging to actually being quite enjoyable and structured. So I would recommend that that's a great way for people to go and practice.
Yeah, that's a great tip. TradingView has great backtesting features, so definitely use them. I've used them before too. They're really, really helpful, and I think every good trader needs to backtest their strategy. If you're not backtesting, then especially when you're making changes to it, backtest, forward test, and then you can confirm the change. Backtest, forward test, confirm change. We're running short on time already because I just kind of got wrapped up talking to you guys about crypto and about your strategies. So we need to move on to the next challenge. Now, this one's a bit of an interesting one because you're going to be forced to trade a crypto that you took your last bad trade on. So think back to what was your last bad trade. And when I say bad trade, it's not, your last failed trade, that you followed your strategy and it just didn't work out. Because that's not a bad trade. Like you were saying earlier, Peter, that's a good trade, just didn't work out. What was your last bad trade? Because every trader, I don't care how long you've been doing it, there are still times where you're going to make a bad decision, take a bad trade. What was your last bad trade? Let's take it back, trade that crypto again, but this time do it better. We'll start with you, Moonin.
Okay. Just got to get the dates down. 14.
If you need some time, we could go to Peter.
Yes, please. I just want to get it already on TradingView. I was going to use something else, but it's not so helpful.
Okay. Do you remember your last bad trade?
Me, yes.
Yeah.
I've got it here, and it wasn't very long ago. This obviously is slightly different from my normal my strategy that I talked about before. But the thing with crypto that's quite nice is that sort of technical analysis doesn't really very frequently play out as long as you wait for the confirmations. However, one of the things that I find problematic, like most people, is patience and maybe jumping the gun, not being kind of ready to wait for enough time to be able to confirm something. So as you can see, we had our rising wedge here, and I saw this high coming in over here. It seemed like this was going to be a little bit of a fake out towards the upside and it was going to push down. So once it got towards this level, I saw this aggressive push down and I entered a sell trade here. Stop loss up above this high here, 2-to-1 risk to reward. However, this for me was not a good trade because typically when we have a breakout towards the downside, we need to wait for a confirmation. So as you can see, this did come back down and it did push back in. And actually, although it did come back and confirm, what made it a bad trade was the fact that instead of taking it here, which actually would have made it a good trade, even though it lost, because I took it here, it was a bad trade. So I jumped the gun. It kind of looked like it was popping out of here, and I jumped the gun. I went in for a sell, and lo and behold, it came back. Now, I want to point out that obviously was a bad trade because I didn't stick to my rules. But ultimately, even if I did stick to my rules, I would have entered the trade here, and I would have lost. But that would have still been a good trade. That makes sense in my book.
It makes a lot of sense, yeah. You didn't follow your rules. It didn't work out. But even if you followed them, it wouldn't have worked out. But you've identified that you made that mistake by not following your rules. So you're going to trade ETH again. What are you going to do this time?
Okay, so actually very conveniently on the 4 hour, Ethereum has actually done something great, which has again popped out. Now you can see that you could say that maybe this trend line would come across here, but for the benefit of kind of the trader now, we can see that we have got multiple lines of confluence here. Although we have had a bit of a fake out, I would say that this trend line is fairly substantial. Now we have squeezed towards the downside here, but we haven't come in with much volume. But what has really got me very interested indeed is this big old wick towards the upside, where we have sort of come down, tested and pushed back in and been very aggressively rejected. We came all the way up to 1957, but back down to $1,900, which is pretty sharp, nearly 3% in terms of a dip. So where I'm actually at right now, I think I could quite happily take a trade here. Other things to look for. Now, typically in crypto, when we're going up these channels, rising wedges, they don't always, but they do more often than not break towards the downside. Now, when people get caught out is entering it too early, but ultimately, because we've already been faked out here, and now we've got something else forming, we've got a head and shoulders, or almost a head and shoulders forming it across top of here. There's a number of things that are making me quite excited at potentially taking a trade. Not excited because I'm an unemotional trader, but you can see what I mean. So I'll have my stop loss set here. So how about a take profit again for a 2-to-1, which is in yellow, which makes it super difficult to see. But you can see that what is most likely to happen is if we do get rejected and pushed down here, then we're likely to come into at least this low, which is working out quite nicely. If we do break back inside, then I can see it continuing even higher, which means I don't want to be in the trade anyway. So this for me is a sell trade. I'm going to go and do some maths while MP tells you about his trade.
Cool, sounds good. Yeah, MP, let's take a look at your trade.
Yeah, sure. So I was looking at ENS, which is the Ethereum name service. And a couple of reasons why I really wanted to get into the trade was because to me, it seemed like the chart had bottomed actually a couple of times, where you can see that we have a lower wick. We have tests of that lower range here, basically 5 tests of it, but we have the price coming down until finally the price breaks above. And like I talked about the TBO, which I love it so much, this orange dot is all I need. You can see it here in action, and the price moved up significantly afterward. And again, same thing, rinse, repeat. So instead of entering here, it actually slipped my mind to check back on the chart, which is the first problem. So there are too many charts. Someone needs to tell someone about that. So what I was really paying attention to, though, is the fact that it broke above this epic overhead resistance. It had been struggling, and it was fighting that resistance for several days until finally it closed above. Now, my problem, the reason why this didn't work out well, couple of reasons. One is that I entered too late, where I should have had an alert set, which you can do here on TradingView. You can go over here and set an alert for, let's see, we could say when it's not crossing the trend line, but it's crossing up the trend line, and we want it to be on the daily time frame. Now, this will go off a ton. We could create some other conditions, but just something real simple to let us know. Crossing up as in closing up, because only here did it kind of close up, but here it didn't, here it didn't, here it didn't, here it didn't. But this is the one I would want to be notified of. So going on a little bit faster time frame, like the 4-hour time frame, this is what I was looking at to figure out what's the strength of the trend. And to me, this trend was strong because all of these, it's a little bit light, a little bit tricky to see, but all 4 of these lines of the TBO, these are all pointing up. And to me, I wanted to stay with that trend. And again, that's my philosophy, is the trend is your friend until the end. So for me, this trade was looking to take profit way up high, of course, using split targets. So taking profit intermittently, like 25%, 30%, taking more and more as it goes up higher. One really cool thing, though, is that even though I got stopped out, I can still see that looking at the TBO, things are slowly starting to move up. As far as the trend, it has flattened, but this basically, this could essentially be a bull flag. So this is the kind of thing where I need to pay attention as well for re-entry, because as soon as it can close, which it looks like it's going to do today above that line, then that would be a signal to say, well, at least we're going to retest 18. So yeah, this is what I'm really into. And I had a too tight stop loss because I wasn't sure it was going to happen. So I got stopped out instead of staying in the trade. But I would much rather get stopped out with a little bit of a loss than be bag holding if the price continued to fall for whatever reason on any of these tokens, right?
Yeah, sorry for the delay there. I've got workmen
No.
in the house, so I I have to mute my mic because they keep drilling through the walls. So yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Also, ENS, great crypto. I really love what they do. They allow you to buy domain names like .eth,
Yeah.
so you could do
Yep.
like Moonin Papa .eth, which is
Yep.
I assume you've
I
taken
have
that.
it. Yep.
You have it?
Yep.
Yeah, figured
Yeah.
you would. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great crypto to trade.
Yeah.
So do you want to? Have you guys both entered your trades then?
Yes.
Trades based on like re-entering that trade?
Yeah,
No,
re-entering that trade.
because I don't believe ENS is available on 8cap unless I'm proven wrong. No, it's not. So I can't
Okay,
do that
well,
one. But I'll
if you
take
could tell
lots of
us your
trades though. Don't worry. I'll take tons of trades with the other tokens that I picked. So
no, you
I'll
could
make
just
up
tell
for
us
it.
the entry stop loss target you would have on ENS, and we could just paper
Yeah.
trade that one.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, talking about that idea of it forming a bull flag right now, if it breaks out, just a second. Just a real dirty channel. So if we confirm close today, what I really want to see is a move up and then a retest before entering. So I'll be looking to enter tomorrow-ish or the day after at about 1550. That would be my entry. And as far as my stop goes, it's nice because if this is a confirmed, if it's a confirmed bull flag, then we have that upside continuation. I can actually be really reserved with my stop loss, and I would probably put it here just below this lower wick. So it would be, what is
Can we
this?
see
Just below
MP's charts,
14.
please? Don't think they're showing. Thank you,
Oh,
guys.
sorry about that.
No, it's
So,
not. It's not you. It's fine. Yeah, that's
so as far as, yeah, so I was saying I would look to take an entry, again, not now. I'd wait until confirmation first and then place my stop pretty tight and then follow it up. And then as far as taking profit, let me zoom out a bit. I don't have a lot of drawings on here, but again, the TBO makes it really easy for me. So I got one resistance line that's confirmed up here. That's pretty obvious. So at 30%, and then I'd take another one just below that. I mean, this is, I would never, ever sell right at the line. That's the dumbest thing to do. Mainly because everyone's looking to do that. So I'd be looking at, 23, 22, the lower numbers. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Makes sense. No, and it's a very good thing you pointed out there. Selling at the line when you have resistance. A lot of people try to set their targets at resistance
Yes.
when you should be setting your targets before resistance, because everyone is
Mm-hmm.
setting their targets all the way up to resistance, and it just a lot of times never reaches there.
Nope.
And that's when traders get really pissed off too, because it comes within 2 or 3 pips. Pips is a forex term, I know, but
Correct. Yeah.
whatever you want to call it in
Sats.
crypto.
Yeah. Sats. If
Just
we're trading against Bitcoin, it's Sats.
yeah, comes within a few sats, and then a few sats, not a few sats, but a lot of sats. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then it goes boom and crashes
Yeah.
down, and you're like, oh, well, that's a trade that I almost hit my target on. It's
Yeah.
almost as bad as the ones where your stop gets hit by 1 pip and then it turns around and goes back up.
Exactly.
Almost as bad
Yes.
as that. Yeah.
Almost.
Right, we actually have to move on right to the next challenge because we're running low on time, guys. So we've taken those 2 trades. We're going to go straight to the next challenge. Any trades to play out the rest of the week. Now, these are the kinds of trades where you get like a good 5 days to let this one run. I don't think they'll be closed until Monday, Tuesday next week. So, anything that's going to play out over the rest of the week, maybe going into early next week, keeping in mind that crypto is a 24/7 market. So that's a good 6 days, 7 days of trading.
Yeah.
We'll
I
start with you,
actually.
Peter, this time.
Oh, okay, sure.
Sure. Well, I've already alluded to the fact that I believe that crypto is probably starting to top out because of what's happening to the US dollar right now, dollar hiking. I feel like crypto might be about to take a bit of a plunge. So jumping across to the Bitcoin chart, we can see a number of different things playing out. Obviously, we've got this rising wedge, which, as I've already mentioned, tends to set, although it's kind of obviously moving in a bullish direction, tends to indicate that we're about to have a drop towards the downside. And actually, right this second, pretty much perfectly, we are retesting the bottom. Now, as I've mentioned, I would like to see a breakout, a retest before I'm entering trades, but obviously don't have time for that. So something else showing the indicator that I talked about earlier. We can see something else that's really interesting. So we had a push towards the upside. We then had our 3-line strike, which is these 3 blue candles to the upside, followed by this big aggressive orange one. Not only is there a huge wick towards the upside, but the orange one is a heavy engulfing candle. It's also showing that it's struggled to get back above both the 20 and the 200 moving averages. Right now, it's sat on top of the 50. Ideally, if we could see it break through the 50, then we're going to be having pretty much everything aligned for a great short position. But I'm looking, therefore, to short Bitcoin. Stop loss above the 200 moving average, which is the red line here. Typically, I would normally go for the wick above the 3-line strike, but as you can see, it's quite far up. So I typically don't want to push for that. And because we got a week, I'm not going to go for the 2-for-1. I think that if Bitcoin drops, it's going to be fairly aggressive, and it's going to come down to at least this kind of low through here. I think 5 days is reasonable. Potentially, you could be saying that the target would be even lower, down towards the 18,000s, but I think that might take a little longer to play out. So that will be a position I'm going to open, and I will do that now.
Okay, cool. Looks good. MP, back to you. What are you thinking about taking?
Call me crazy. I'm actually going to take the opposite stance from Peter. I'm actually looking at a long position for Solana. I know if any of you are like crypto people, you're like, what? They've had all these hackings, they've had all these outages, but I'm one of those traders that I don't pay much attention to news, mainly because it's typically late, it's always biased, and it rarely has the effect on the market that people want it to. Now, there are lots of other big, global events that do affect markets, wars, recessions, things like that. But I mean, I've seen tokens where it's like, no, you're not supposed to do that right now. Everything else is, bad. You should be bad too, and it's irrespective of what's going on. So, like I said, like it doesn't make sense, but to me, Solana looks like it's ready to move up. I understand this is like contrary and it doesn't make sense, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. It's as simple as just identifying it does have an upward trend. Now there is a invalidation point to this, and I totally get it. If it breaks to the downside, that's fine. I got my stop there. That's okay. But I'm looking at this thinking that I see RSI. It has been growing. RSI is looking like it's on a nice move up, that it hasn't really peaked out yet, except for here. But just because RSI is peaked doesn't mean that the move is done at all. And we could see RSI pop above 70 and stay above 70 for a while, and as the chart goes up higher. So again, this doesn't really vibe with Peter's outlook on the market and how bearish things are. This is just me looking at crypto, and I hate to say it, but a gut feeling. So that's what I am going to be entering. I'm going to wait for the price to fall down a little bit more, probably around here. So that way let me get rid of that and that. So I'm looking for the price to fall down in the middle of these two lines right here. Take a long entry, and I'm looking to take profit at the top side of the cloud. So this would be a longer position trade. So looking to make about 30%. I know I'm not a purple. I'm not. It's just what I'm seeing, and that's the vibe that I'm getting from it. So
that makes sense. A lot of times as a trader, you do need to learn to trust those gut feelings,
yeah,
because they do prove to be right a lot of times, especially if you have statistically proven them to be right by keeping a trading journal and seeing, hey, when I
yes,
get that feeling, I might not know what it is, but there's just
yep,
something from my experience
yep,
telling me
yep,
I should get into this.
yep.
So it makes a lot of sense. I also notice you have an incredibly tight stop loss. Is that your kind of normal approach to stop losses?
Yeah, I like to keep it really tight. I'm also mindful of the leverage that I'm using, which is 20-1. So I understand that my margin could make up for it and I could have it much wider, but like I want to make sure that I want to make sure I'm taking care of my portfolio as well. That's really important. Because I'd much rather get stopped out at 3 or 4% than 10%, especially with leverage. And if this trade doesn't happen to work out and I take a small loss, that's way better to me than trying to hopefully hit a home run with like a super wide stop loss. But if things really go south, as Peter is suggesting, then I'm going to be in a whole lot of pain with my account. And that's not good trading at all.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Well, I personally use wider stop losses, but have spoken to a lot of traders that stick to those to really tight stop losses. And that's the thing
Yeah.
about trading. There's no one size fits all approach. There's no like, this is better than that. It's just whatever works best for you, is my approach to trading. Right. So we've got both trades in then, right?
Yes.
Have you taken yours, Peter?
Yep. 2 Bitcoin sell.
Cool. Yeah, very interesting. I tend to side with Peter on this one, because I do think it's going down, but like I could be totally wrong. I'm not taking sides, sorry, because I'm impartial. I'm the host. I'm just saying my opinion is it's probably going to go down. But I do love the confidence. I do love Solana. It is a great crypto, despite all the growing pains it's having. People like to make fun of it. Growing pains. This is why
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about ADA. ADA just moves too slow and they don't get anything done. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Solana gets everything done, but
Yeah.
they run into some issues along the
Yeah.
way. So it's like also the approach you like with the two. ADA, slow, does everything right. Solana, a lot faster, gets things out, but things go wrong sometimes. Which yeah. But yeah, we need to talk about the charities real quick. So, what charity are you supporting, MP? And where are your winnings going if you do win?
The charity that I'm supporting is called Bear Hope, BARE Hope. It
Is that
is
for bearish traders?
no. Bear. I know it's funny, and on their logo they have a bear on it too. So it's just
Right.
like no. No, but it is an adoption placement agency, and Japan is one of those interesting places culturally, as everybody knows, that things are just different here. One of those things is the orphanage crisis in Japan is very different compared to at least the West, where if children aren't adopted by 6 months to maybe a year or so, they're basically stuck in an orphanage. And not just that, when they graduate from an orphanage when they leave the orphanage, their status in life is severely handicapped, where being an orphan, like, you have no family ties, there's no koseki, there's no lineage to fall back on, there's no family land, there's no resources, there's no nothing. So a lot of people that grow up as orphans in Japan have a much harder time adjusting to life, assimilating into culture after they graduate out of college, if they can get in. So what Bear Hope does is they consult expecting moms, whether they're teen moms or whatever, and they do some counseling, but their real goal is to help place the children with families in Japan that are hoping to adopt for whatever reason. So it's a great agency, and I've actually worked with them. I adopted my son through them, and I really love what they do. So that's the one I choose.
That I had no idea about that, and that sounds like a really, really good cause. And Peter, what's your charity?
So I don't know if I already had a charity before, which I had for previous trading battles. I'm not sure whether or not I can switch it to another one. But is that
well,
okay?
it says Team Blake down there, but you can switch it to the other one. It's fine.
It says what?
It said Team Blake. Was that your
Okay,
previous
that's
charity?
not my one anyway. Okay, that's fine. So recently moved to Bali, which is obviously a lovely place, and has loads of cool stuff going for it. And there's obviously a lot of like really nice things here, but there's also on the flip side of it, still a lot of like poverty and things going around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that perhaps enough is given from the kind of the privileged people, or the fortunate is probably the word I'm looking for. Fortunate people who are here towards kind of like some of the local people who are struggling with a number of different things. So the charity I want to give it to is going to be split between the Smile Foundation, which basically helps children who are born with sort of various problems, whether that be like cleft lips, palates, tumors, and things like that. Mainly because they don't really have the money in order to be able to pay for the expensive healthcare, etc. And then the next one, of course, is going to be the Bali Kids Foundation. So I kind of want to split it two ways if possible. I'll send details after. Bali Kids Foundation, which is basically helping disadvantaged children as well as orphan children who need medical attention, etc. Because I think there's a lot of people here who are in need, especially after COVID, because it was a very tough time for the island. And it's now my home, and it's giving a lot to me, so I want to give something back to them.
Beautiful, love it. Again, another worthy cause. Right, guys, we're running really, really short on time, so just tell us a little bit more about where we could reach you, starting with MP, your socials, what you do, and yeah.
So I am on YouTube. You can just search for Moonin Papa. You'll see me there. I'm on Twitter. I'm not as busy as I should be, or active is the right word. I do have a public Discord, but most of the stuff that I do is through the Better Traders, which is a cryptocurrency educational trading company. So we have 4 different trading courses that teach you how to grow a small account quickly if you don't have a lot of funds. With AB trading, there's also bot trading, which is really popular, including the TBO switch, which is a 100% automated hands-free trading bot that goes long and short using leverage, all that fun stuff. We have communities that we do. There's a Better Traders Club. So yeah, you can check out thebettertraders.com to learn more about what we do.
Cool, sounds good. And Peter, your socials?
Sure. The House of Crypto, typically sort of trading strategies, as well as kind of daily updates on Bitcoin, Ethereum, various other cryptos, as well as once we kind of start moving again with the market, kind of like crypto gems and hot kind of like tips and picks going forward with all that. I am on Twitter under the House of Crypto also, but also a bit not that involved with my Twitter. However, people can find all the contact details for me in the comment section of my YouTube channel. Free to DM me any questions, etc., and see how I can help out.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely be DMing you some questions. I got some questions about moving to Bali because I'm looking to move out of the UK, and it sounds like you've already made the move.
Yeah.
Bali seems like a great place to be. But yeah, righto, guys. Let's wrap this one up. Thank you very much to Peter and MP for attending. There'll be results coming in the next 5-6 days about who's won. Best of luck to both of you, and I'll see you guys later.
Thanks very much.
Thanks again for having us.
Thanks, guys. See you.